Yes, good morning and welcome to the May edition of the Ready to Work webinar series. We are excited to have you all here this morning. To our friends online, we said welcome to this edition. This promises to be a very insightful session, and we hope by the time we'll be done here, we will all be empowered to start a business on our own if we've not already started doing so. So the Absa Ready to Work program is a program designed by Absa to help young people to discover, learn life skills that would help them to build their self-confidence in venturing into self-employment and also preparing themselves for the world of work. And we are happy to be live this morning to be discussing a critical topic in our times today: how to unlock the boss in you. And I'm excited to have two young entrepreneurs who have weathered this terrain, and they will be sharing with us some insights on how they were able to come this far in their journey. They'll be talking to us about their stories, and I'm sure you would also have your own stories to tell. So now to my audience, we just want to find out, have you started thinking of something you would want to do, or have you ever tried to venture into something? We want to hear from you. What have you been trying to do to set up your own business, or have you ever even considered? And then what is your expectation from this particular engagement? So, okay, so I have someone from the audience, the lady right at the back there. Can you tell us, have you started something on your own, or have you been thinking of something?
A business called a stylist personnel.
Wow.
So someone may ask, who is a stylist? So a stylist is someone who come in when you don't have anything to wear or anything to, you have a program to attend and you don't know what to
Like
put
I've been
on.
invited to a special dinner.
Yes. So that's when I will come in. You give me your complexion, the color of your complexion, the size, your height, and everything.
Wow.
So I'll provide you your clothes and style you. That's the meaning of a stylist.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. And I wish you well. I'll be coming to you. I'll be coming to you. Okay, so yes, young gentleman in pink. They say bold men wear pink, right? Yeah, so tell us, what are your expectations from this particular engagement?
Okay, so as a young person who is ready to step into the world of work, I'm particularly excited about this session. One thing that lingers on my mind is AI, how to navigate the world of work where AI is also evolving. So I'm looking forward to an insightful but entertaining event. Thank you.
Okay, so you are looking at how you can leverage AI to build a business or even support whichever organization you work with. And I think that is really brilliant. And this is why we are here today. I have with me, let me take my time, Esland Ewuzi Samson from Big Sam's, popularly known as Ajua Agbobloshi. And then we have Anthony also answer from Shack Express. So, lady and gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's delve right into our topic. But before then, let's probably hear the beginning of your stories. How did it all start for you? And maybe a little bit of what you do and how did it all start for you?
So, Big Sam's Market is a grocery delivery service. And I like that he mentioned AI and technology because we shop for your groceries for you. So it's your local market and technology combined to give you convenience, to help you shop smarter so you can cook faster and take a lot of ease off you. So Big Sam started, the idea was developed about 11 years ago. That was when I came across grocery delivery being a Western service.
I guess by that time you were in school, right?
I was in school. I was in KNUST, my final year, yes. And then I decided to develop it more, but registered the business and started well, like properly in 2017. That's 8 years ago. So that's how long we've been. So don't think I'm too young. I've been there for quite some time.
Thank you very much, Adrago Bloshi. And that is it. I think when she was talking, I was speaking some keywords, how the idea came about. She nursed the idea, went on to start registration process to get the business formalized. And I think that's great. So to you, Anthony.
Thank you very much. So Shark Express is a tech-driven courier company. What we do is that anything you need from here, we pick it up and deliver to your doorsteps. And I conceived the idea in 2016. I was in a place of inconvenience. I wanted things delivered to me without me moving around. So that's when I thought about the idea. Unfortunately, I shelved the idea until 2020 when COVID happened. There was a high demand for delivery services. The then delivery service could not meet the requirements of the people because of lockdown. So my wife encouraged me that since there's demand, why don't you start now? And I said, okay, let me start now. So we started small. I was still working. I was still doing my 9 to 5 when I started. But 2 months into it, or 3 months, I resigned and fully went into it. And last Friday was 5 years since Shark Express started.
Wow, congratulations, congratulations. A big round of applause for them. Congratulations. So I guess I'm right in saying we have the right people here to help us to unlock the boss in each one of us here, because they have been able to unlock the boss in them, right? So to start with, this whole idea of entrepreneurship and young people, unemployment and all that, do you think it is critical that we need to drive this entrepreneurial mindset in young people, and what role does it really play in our current situation? I'll start with you, Anthony.
Well, so I believe that entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs are people who find problems and develop solutions to fix the problems. In doing so, they create jobs and opportunities across the world. And if you look at Africa and Ghana to be specific, there are a lot of challenges that we find ourselves in. And all around us, there are different types of challenges. In solving those challenges, we end up creating jobs, adding impact to the society, and adding values to ourselves. The other point I will raise is that a lot of us depend on government for work, right? A lot of us, we finish school and we want to work for the government or work elsewhere. The government cannot employ more than even 30% of the total population.
Exactly.
What that means is that the rest of the job must come from people who are bold enough to step up and say, I'll take the risk, create opportunities, and work in a country or the society. So I believe that for us to progress as a nation, for the country to develop, for us to get to the next level of our lives, we need people, we need entrepreneurs, we need people who are willing to take the challenge of making a problem a solution or create a solution to problems.
Great, great. I like what you said. You need people who are bold enough to take the risks, so they can create solutions to solve societal problems. And when Anthony was talking, he mentioned about solving problems, societal problems, creating jobs, and creating value for yourself. For you, Esland, how has that manifested in your own story in terms of your personal development? How has this entrepreneurial journey helped you in bringing more value to your personal life as well?
Okay, so entrepreneurship changes you. And first of all, I'm sure we are talking about generational mindsets when we talk about entrepreneurship in this room. Because you can think of maybe starting something for just yourself. But in this discussion, we are talking about going beyond you and making a great impact, not just on you, but for the people around you, your community, your country, your continent. So entrepreneurship for me, it has changed me from thinking about me to thinking about people in the market, thinking about farmers, thinking about partnering with a delivery service, thinking about partnering with a local driver somewhere. And that is what it's become for me. It changes you if you're really looking forward to building something big, and you don't just limit yourself. You see it in a way that I can't do it alone. And that is how personally it's developed myself. I have been developed for that, because I don't now think that, okay, I'm going to work at Big Sam's Market and I'm the one going to park, going to do this. I think beyond me. I think about developing my team, training my team to go beyond what we are currently doing and taking upon themselves more jobs. So entrepreneurship, when you start and as you grow, you realize that it gives you a different shift in your mind. And then you move from that in my corner, doing something small, to bringing more people on board to do something big.
Great. Is it the same for you, Big Sam? Tony?
Yeah, it's the same. So for us, we work with a lot of partners, right? And you realize that who you were before entrepreneurship is completely different when you start. The way you think, the way you think, how you work, who you work with, what you intend to do. Sometimes you might even start with an idea, but you realize that you're doing something completely different from what you started with. So you go through a process an internal process that will change a lot of things within you. Plus, your association with the people you work with also adds certain value to you, you add value to them. The entire ecosystem makes you even a better person, right? The challenges, the risk, the gains, the wins, they all make you an amazing person.
That's amazing. So as we keep discussing, I think I keep picking the keywords coming up, okay? I picked up collaboration and working with others. So you are building that skill. I also pick up a lot on the issue of ecosystem, working together with other partners, creating linkages to help your business grow as well. And I think as we are listening, these are some of the things we should be thinking of. One of the most critical things we talked about whenever the issue of entrepreneurship for young people comes up are the barriers, the fears, and all that sometimes hold us back. I keep telling young people that in our time, I didn't get so much of this opportunity where you have people sharing their experiences and their stories and insights on how you can build because when I was in school, I didn't, come to think of it, I didn't need a student loan because I was doing some papa side business, on campus, and I was getting a lot of money. But I guess probably I had my own fears that probably I didn't even realize. So what are some of the fears and barriers that probably hinder us from really unlocking the inner boss in us? Adjoa?
So I would say that there would always be fears. Everything would always be a risk. So the earlier, if this is the path you want to go on, you need to work on your mind and know that it's not going to be smooth. I'm sure Tony knows that every single day, whether you've started a business or not, comes with its challenge. It comes with bikes probably breaking down. It comes with staff pilfering or doing something, taking some things they are supposed to do, not doing well, not checking orders well. So if you decide to build on the fear, it will be 10 years, 20 years, and you'll still be here. Let me tell you a story. A boss of mine, when I was developing the idea, and I was working back then, I kept telling him that it's not working. I've tried. I've done a lot of pilots. It's not working. And then he told me one thing. He said, Adjoa, if you don't build this, if you don't do this, you're going to regret in the next 20 years. But let me tell you, I would have regretted in just 2 years. Because I realized that as much as back then, the digital space was not so big and people thought it was risky to order groceries online. Look at the space now. Look at the digital space now.
So much opportunity.
We sit in our homes and order shoes, bags, call people to come and fix our hairs, like everything. We don't have time. You would rather go into traffic or rather order for the package to be developed. So just imagine that I decided that I'm going to be scared. I'm going to rely on the fear, the barriers that are involved, and I didn't move. They are going to be there. You know, when you start we started with maybe 5 orders, then you start thinking about 10 orders. And then you start thinking about 20 orders. Do you know the risk that comes with 20 orders or 50 orders? Or this year, we sat down to plan, have our goals for the year. And I said, we want to have this particular number of orders this year. And then we made a post online, just one post. And the projection we made, we had to do double of those orders in a day. So just imagine. So there are going to be, when you start this journey, if this is what you want to do, you need to know that there are always, and in our part of the world, there are so many limitations. Buying a van is expensive. Buying a bike is, I'm sure when you started in 2020, a bike costed some moderate amount, and now one bike is so expensive. So imagine he didn't start back then. He wouldn't have gotten the money to invest in more. So let's accept, yes, there are so many barriers. It's better for you to accept that this is how it's going to be like. There will be barriers. But are you ready to take on the risk, to move, to hit those barriers and make something big for you, not just you, but the people around you and your country?
Okay, so for you, Tony, before you started, were there particular issues or fears that you had, and what did you do about it?
So I think that my situation will be a bit different. Before, I didn't plan to be an entrepreneur. It just happened, right? So I was doing my 9 to 5. I was doing something on the side. I have another business I run, but I was doing that on the side as pro bono, like free of charge to help people get jobs, right? Then when COVID happened and I started Shark Express and I saw the data and the revenue, that's when I said, you know what, let me rethink, right? But I started experiencing the fears or the challenges when I started, let me put it that way. Okay. Like it came when I started, right? Before that, the fear was probably the next job or the next thing, right? The fear was different from entrepreneurship. Then when I started, the fear was, how do I keep it going? So my first year, the fear was, will I last another year? Mm-hmm. Because then if you know about the delivery space, if you go check our GD on any of the systems or the data, you realize that in the last 10 years, those who started, only a few of them are left, right? Mm-hmm. So I was a bit afraid, can I keep this going for the next 2 years? Then the second year came and I was like, can I go third year? Can I go fourth year? Can I go fifth year? And by God's grace, here in our fifth year, I'm wondering if I can do 10. So now the fear is to, can I go 10, right? The on-job challenges, they come. And I think that the biggest challenge for every entrepreneur or anybody who aspires to be an entrepreneur is yourself, right? Your mindsets first. Because when I thought about it, as at that time, I was just doing something small to help me move around. So I won't have to waste time moving car to go and buy things, right? Then when I came back to Accra and COVID happened, I didn't know what scale I was trying to do this. The intention was actually for a side thing, just to support my salary. So something small.
Like a side gig.
Yeah, side gig. Just something small to support my salary. Then I realized the demand kept coming. And the next month, I bought extra bikes to reinvest, like I invested the profits. Then the demand kept growing. Let's say month 1x, the next month 6x.
Wow.
I was like, okay. So the first 3 months data was good for me to take the decision to want to do it full time. So it was when I started full time that I realized that there are more challenges than I was seeing because the team at that time were handling some of them. But then the decision to switch from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship took me 3 months.
Wow.
Yes.
Just 3 months
Just 3 months.
after you started the business.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. And I have to go through approval process for my wife, for my family, and all that to be able to switch. The fear was, what if it doesn't work? The fear was, what if you're unable to provide enough? The fear was, what if it's just the beginning that you are seeing all these signs? What if it won't be that like that? The fear was, what something happened? There were so many fears. But then again, this is what I told my wife, that what's the worst that can happen? That it will not go as expected, and I just go back to my 9 to 5. So that was the last conversation we had, and I said, okay, let me just go into this full time. Then when I started, we had to deal with different issues from different. You have to deal with competition. You have to deal with customers. You have to deal with the riders. You have to deal with your staff. You have to deal with the government. You have to deal. There's so many things you have to deal with. Like, you wake up and there are so many things on your table you have to deal with.
And still, you have to be excellent at what you do.
Exactly.
Yes, you have to be. But see, the thing about the universe is that whatever you set your mind to it, the universe has a way of conspiring to assist you to get it, right? Only if you don't give up. So if you face a challenge, there are solutions around in different forms. Different forms. It took her boss to encourage her not to give up, right? And for me, that was a powerful thing she said that's encouraged, because at a point, somebody also said, don't stop, keep going. That was 3 years ago. I almost gave up for many reasons. When I wanted to increase the fleet and I didn't have capital, I went to some banks. They said, you're too young, you're just about 5 months. We can't invest in a business that's just started in 5 months. I went to some friends. They gave me money, like, start with, but we'll give you this interest. Now, the interest they put on the money forced me to do 6 times I will be doing, right? Because I need to pay back, get more, and increase the fleet. But interestingly, at some point, I had so many of them coming to say, hey, how can we help you? And the challenge then was, how do I increase my fleet? Because the demand and the supply were not meeting at a point of equilibrium. So when the challenge came and I started looking for solution, I found it. And at that time, I found it in family and friends. Fast forward 1 year later, a bank approached me and said, we have seen what you're doing. We want to help you grow. They gave me funds to buy 30 bikes at a time, right? And that was I was just 1 year and some few months. So even though there's a challenge, there are also opportunities that are around. You will not see them until maybe somebody directs you, somebody tells you, somebody wants to see you commit. You put your skin in the game, and then maybe the solutions will come. But there's no challenge that doesn't come with a solution. Let me put it that way.
Right. I think this is really, really insightful. I mean, there's no challenge that doesn't have a solution. People will always be there to push you. Don't stop. Don't stop. Yeah. So if you are here and you've not started yet, you have to start now. And when you start, don't stop. Keep pushing. And I think you will find the solution. There will be people out there who would help you out and support you. I want us to also talk. I want us to be very practical with this, because we want to help others to also start and grow. So what are the practical steps we can take to cultivate this entrepreneurial mindset? How can young people start small? How can they start simple and low and still build up to a business like yours that you can now see a trajectory of growth?
Okay. I mean, from what we've said so far, you realize that both of us started small. I started in my living room when I came to Accra I think after national service. That was when I started. And I recently made a post that I didn't have the resources. So even though it's risky for people to shop from me at that time, I couldn't tell you that, let me go and shop for you and then you pay later or something. I had to get your money. I had to create some value. I had to put myself out there. I had to make you believe that whatever I'm telling you, I'm going to do it and deliver your groceries to you. So first of all, starting small is, I believe, the best way to go, especially in this, our economy or where we find ourselves in, because there's so many risks involved. Aside everything, he's told you so many, the fears and everything. You're even scared. You are your first point. Yeah. How is it? Am I going to survive year one? Am I going to survive year two? And I remember when we started, so many competition will come up. Like a lot of them. So you're like, where are all these people coming from? Like, where are they coming from? So it will come up and you're fighting with yourself, but start with what you have. What do you want to do? I mean, that's the first question. What do you want to do? What is the problem you want to solve? I feel like when we are in certain problems, we are able to solve them very well. Like your situation of wanting to, how do I get this easily? You find yourself thinking because you are going through that problem. So you're like, okay, this is what I would do to develop this particular service, So let's keep, what is the idea? What do you want to do? What kind of problem have you seen? And what solution do you want to give to the problem? So I found out that I'm a graphic designer by profession. So how did I find my idea? I found it when I was doing a packaging research in school. And then a food packaging research. So the packaging research was how to package our local food stuff. So that, let's be real, Momone has this smell. Yes, condo. Imagine having condo by you in your office. Or Momone or Kobe by you in your office. Your colleagues will probably fight with you. So the project was how to package these local food stuff so that you can have them anywhere.
They can be appealing.
It can be appealing. And then during that, I came across the words grocery delivery, which was a very Western service. I had not heard about it before. Then I decided to do research about it in Ghana. This was back in 2014. I didn't find any data here in Ghana. The closest I found to Africa was South Africa. And then I found another one in Nigeria, a lady who had started several years ago. But most of the data showed it's working in Canada, it's working in the US, it's working in the UK. So I said, how can we bring this into our way of life? The typical Ghanaian wants to go to the markets, go and select their tomatoes, bargain.
Turn the tomatoes and look at which side is soft.
Exactly. So sometimes you get the idea, and then you look at yourself, you look at the idea you have. How am I going to make this idea work in my space? Delivery out there are street names, there are numbers. You just put in something, and out there, they deliver the stuff, put it in front of their doors. Ghana, you're going to put someone's box in front of their door. Someone is coming to take their box away,
When you're carrying it,
when you're carrying it, they are taking it away. So this idea that I had, a Western idea, the first point was to localize it. So when I started, I kept saying grocery delivery, whatever delivery. I mean, the typical Ghanaian thought grocery delivery is milk, Milo. Me too, I'm talking about tomatoes and pepper. So what do I do next? I developed, went through asking questions, doing a lot of research. Then I realized that there are some messages that I need to put out there that the Ghanaian can resonate with it. Messages like changing even my brand name online to Ajo Abuglushi, to create some kind of, why is this girl calling herself Ajo Abuglushi? To draw attention. And then using messages like grocery, food stuff delivery at Abuglushi prices. Don't we all know Abuglushi?
Yeah.
And as soon as we mention Abuglushi, we know what you are talking about. That you are talking about something, tomatoes, pepper, yam, all those things. So when you are starting, you need to factor all these things. Sometimes in this Gen Z world, we see things happening in foreign countries. We just want to adopt it. But does the typical Ghanaian, we still continue to say, drop that yam? Yeah. Because that particular message was so powerful that we call this small phones yam till now. So you need to factor and think about all these things as you're developing the idea. How can the Ghanaian relate? He found that during COVID, We needed delivery services. It was so how do I make sure that the Ghanaian is enjoying the service? Because you are starting from here. Understand your people. Don't think beyond them. Don't think in the a US idea for the Ghanaian market. Think a Ghanaian market. Then as you develop it to the US, to Nigeria, to wherever you find yourself. So let's have that. Starting small, knowing where you're starting from, knowing the people you are going to serve. Very important. Don't assume that everybody is going to like my service. I assumed from the beginning that, oh, people will enjoy, why won't you let me go to the markets for you? But later I realized that no, they don't want you to go to the markets for them. That is the reality. They want to go to the market themselves. So how do I make sure that I'm conveying a message that shows value and make these people know that no, let me use this service and I'm going to enjoy some convenience and value at the same time.
Thank you. I mean, you've given us a lot of tips on this, and audience will be coming to you both online and those in the studio here for your questions. I'm sure you would have some questions for Tony and Adjoa. But before that, I would like to, I think one of the things we struggle with, okay, is being able to manage for someone like you, like Tony, who was doing an 8 to 5 job, how you were able to manage your time effectively, especially during your transition period, to be able to still build this business whilst you are still giving full service to your employer. How did you manage that? Because I think managing our time for young people and those in school and still trying to run businesses, can you give us a little bit of advice of experience, how you were able to manage both?
Okay, it was actually very easy because I went to Shark Express after work. So between 8 and 5, I make sure that I give my best to my employer then. And I only attend to Shark Express after work hours. And in my time management, one of the key things that helped me in time management was finding somebody who can hold forth in your absence, somebody who understands what you want to achieve. So I had a gentleman and a lady who one was handling the fleet and one was handling the customers. So, and then the others as well. So they do that between my 8 to 5. Then when I close from work, then I then pass by the office and then understand what happened in the day, the challenges, the opportunities, or any other issues that they want to discuss. Then we discuss it there. So I was normally leaving the office. The best time we closed was around 11 p.m. Sometimes I leave midnight. Then I used to handle one of the phones too. So 2, 3 a.m. customers will be calling. You have to wake up and answer them and put their order down. And then wake up and go to work. So, and I leave the house around 6-ish. So around 6, then I come back at, say, 6, 7, continue on in the night. Basically, I didn't have to, but I had a very understanding wife, so the time wasn't a problem. The only thing that I would say is that, and I will add to what Eslan said, when I was working then, my focus really wasn't the side. It was a side. So it was just supposed to help my salary and help with my income and inflow. I only paid attention fully when I decided that I now want to switch from full-time to entrepreneurship. But it helped me because I learned a lot from the corporate world that helped me able to manage my business and the people, right? So for people who are currently doing 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 and want to transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, I would say take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Understand the job you want to do, the business you want to do. Test it. Pilot it for 3 to 6 months, or possibly a year, depending on how long you want to do that. Understand what the repercussions are if you decide that you are switching and then you go in and it doesn't go as expected. What does it mean for you, right? And if you're able to do that, if you're able to run it for 3 to 6 months, you run the figures, you run projections, you do simulations to see if you inject X amount of money, what are the possible returns, what are the possible risks. If you're able to analyze all these information and data, then you can make the decision to switch. And when you switch, you must switch fully. From your soul to your spirit to everything, you must switch complete. Because sometimes you switch and you're still looking for a job. You switch and you're still looking for salary. You're still expecting salary. There are months you will not get enough to pay yourself. I went years without even a penny coming as salary for me, right? Probably I still don't take salary. But you need to understand the full risk and scope of what you're going to do. Then when you are confident, then you can now say, okay, I'm done with this, and you're moving to this. Today, there are a lot of opportunities for people who want to become entrepreneurs, especially for those who haven't even worked at all, fresh graduates, right? There are institutions that are willing to groom you to become an entrepreneur. When you join, even if you don't have an idea, they'll give you an idea. They'll give you something to work on and build it. They can help you find co-founders. They can help you develop and nurture your ideas. And when you have an idea, there are incubators and accelerators who can help you grow the idea, right? So this is actually the best time to start. There are people who are willing to fund businesses. There are banks willing to help. Absa is giving plenty loans now, no collateral loans. I mean, this is a time, because then if you're not 3 to 5 years, they won't even look at you. But today, without collateral, you can get a loan. It wasn't happening back then, right? And there are even low interest loans, there are grants, there are a lot of opportunities in the system. There are a lot of institutions who are ready to help you, no matter the sector you find yourself in, to grow as an entrepreneur. So I think one of the practical ways to become an entrepreneur is to start. It's the most difficult part of it, but when you get started, the journey remains forward.
Thank you very much, Tony. So to our young lady out there, where are you? The stylist, you have to start now. You can't wait any further. This is the time for you to start. So I'm hoping right after here, you just put your things in motion and start now. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to address your questions. If there are any online questions, we would want to take them. But before that, we'll do a short break, and then we'll come back. We'll take all your questions for Tony and Adjoa.
Shadow fit to overlap, so sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check, do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. You be at the day, I am not upset, check, I don't even use checks to the check. Me, I know they run to, get a bill, then I tap and bounce to. Hey, no worries in my mind, though, get a text, new amount in account to. Cash, no, I land it. See my eye gets like I hit the jackpot. Got a quick question for the chat, but where's the nearest ATM spot? New deposit in the cash slot. I be on my modern day, new African steez. Digital man on my Q's and P's. The way it's safe and secure to be. Woo, wee. Everyday life, oh. Time no they believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy. Everyday life, oh. Time no they believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy.
Easy, Absa, you see how they smile. I did check my alpha. Oh, internet data finished. Then star 895 hash. Make account my account. Cash no
I land it. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. You be at the day, I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks to the check. Me, I know they run to, get a bill, then I tap and bounce to. Hey, no worries in my mind, though, get a text, new amount in account to.
Cash no, I land it.
I land it. See, my eye gets like I hit the jackpot. Got a quick question for the chat, but where's the nearest ATM spot? New deepers in the cash slut. I be on my modern day new African steez. Digital man on my Q's and P's. The way it's safe and secure to be. Woo, wee. Everyday life, oh. Time no day believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy. Everyday life, oh. Time no day believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy.
Easy. Absa, you see how they smile. I dey check my alpha. Oh, internet data finish. Then star 895 hash. Make account my account.
Welcome back to our session, and if you just joined us, we've been discussing how to unlock the boss in you. This is part of the Absa Ready to Work series, webinar series, and we've been doing this for some time now. So you go on our YouTube page, Absa Bank Ghana, or our Facebook page, and you have a lot of these sessions to learn from. But most importantly, make sure you've downloaded the Absa Ready to Work app on Google Play Store or App Store, and you would have a lot of insightful lessons, courses to go through, and these are free to build yourself up as a young person, prepare yourself for the world of work, or prepare yourself for self-employment, which we are talking about now, how to unlock the boss in you. So Tony and Esland has been gracious. They've shared their stories, inspiring stories and lessons and insights with us, and I think it's been great. So for now, I think if you have any questions, I'll go to my audience. I think we have some questions here. So who is the first? Yes, gentlemen, can you please stand up and probably tell us your name and then ask your question?
From University of Ghana, and my question goes directly to Mr. Anthony. So, Mr. Anthony, you said after a year, a bank came in for you, giving you a loan. So, in instances where you were not given the loan or where you didn't have any financial support, what would be your next option?
I remember Slan said that the bigger you get or the more you grow, it comes with more risk, right? At that time, we could have still stayed the same way. We could have still done the business the same way to meet the same customers, right? But as an individual, we all want to grow. And when the demand was growing, we wanted to grow our fleet to be able to obviously grow our revenues and profits. But should I not have gotten a loan from the bank? I believe that I would have used the same approach I started. So I started with 4 motorbikes the first month. Second month, I started with 6 bikes. Third month, 8 bikes. Then the fourth month, I went to 12 bikes. So I kept going small until I took, a lump sum from friends and family, and I added to about 30-something. The following year, they added 32, so I had about 60. By the end of the second year, I had about 80 fleets, right? 80 motorbikes. But I would have gone the usual approach on leaning on what I have to generate enough. Because in this entrepreneurship world, for somebody to buy into your idea or invest in you, they need to see numbers, they need to see traction, they need to see what you have done on your own, they need to see how deep your skin has been in the game, right? So regardless of support, keep going, keep doing it. Keep doing what is within your means. Then make the argument that with what you have, this is what you have generated. If they give you X, you give them XY, basically. I don't know if I've answered your question.
I think you have. And when we were just talking about the numbers, your growth numbers, I mean, that is really exciting in month 1, month 2, month 3, and you just kept on growing like that. But I guess it doesn't always also happen as fast as that.
Yes.
And you still need to keep going.
Yes. Right. At some point, we're stagnant. So, like what she really said, at that time, the bike was 4,000, 5,000. Now, it's 18, 20,000. You can't grow like that. And now there are a lot of competition, big players, and also the time changes. That is why you should start when you can.
Start when you can. It has come up again. Start when you can. Now, okay. Our second gentleman. Yes, the gentleman in red.
Hello, thank you very much. My name is Luis Nyako, and my question goes to both Madam Ewudziye and Anthony. Most of the times, when you are listening to more of these motivational speakers and all that, sometimes when you go to them and you tell them you want to start a business and you need this X amount, they tell you that you don't need money to start a business or to begin your entrepreneurial journey. But we should be very, very frank. Assuming I'm a graphic designer or I do photography and all that, and I want to start my own photography business and all of that, regardless, I'll need a camera. You understand? And as Anthony was saying, unless you have your skin in it before you can get someone to support you financially. But assuming I'm just a young graduate, just graduating from the university, and I don't have a camera to work with, but I believe I can do something with the skill I have. What are the ways, or what are some strategic, procedures you think we could follow to achieve what we want to become? Thank you.
Thank you. So what she's simply asking is that money is important. Do you need the money to start? And if you don't have the money to start, what do you do?
Do you want to start first?
No.
Okay. So it's a yes and no answer for me. You need money, but you don't solely need money. In your case of a camera, so my company has a camera now. Before we didn't have. When we want to take pictures.
Tony, let me just maybe bring you back. So you started a business. You needed motorbikes to start this business. How did you get your motorbikes?
So my wife and I, we had some money. I took that money from her, added to my money. We bought 4 motorbikes. So that's how we started, right? At that time, what we could buy at that time was 4. So we bought 4. Then we started with it. But when it started working, the revenue after our deductions, taxes, and everything, what was left could buy 2. Then we bought 2. So instead of pocketing that money or spending that money, I reinvested the money to increase the fleet, right?
I didn't need a huge money, financial backing to start.
So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the kind of business you're doing. So for photography, for example, there are people who are doing rentals, right? You don't need to buy from the start. There are people who are doing rentals. You could rent for a day or a week and pay a small amount of money to do a particular gig that you're looking to do, right? With that one, you might not need so much money, right? If you have a good relationship with the people who rent it, you can sort of take it and pay later. I don't know how it works. But if you go to, like he said, some motivational speaker and they say they don't need money, you can argue that. So yes, without money, I've been able to rent the camera to do these projects. But the money goes into the rental. And now, if I'm able to acquire the assets for myself, these are the margins I am looking to make. Every businessman is a businessman. If you send a proposal to a businessman that the margins looks great, they obviously want to invest in it, right? There's the fear. There's a fear factor where people have raised money and spent the money on something else. So now, there's no investor confidence in a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs because they invest in somebody and then the person uses the money to do something else. So, and if the person doesn't know you especially, and they're not sure about you, they will tell you things that you don't want to hear. But I will always say that even with the little that you have, even if it's 200, I believe 200 can rent a camera for maybe 2 hours or 1 hour. Do the gig, make the money, pay the rental off, see the next thing you can do more gigs, sometimes even pro bonus, right? Sometimes do things for brands for free. Sometimes, I don't know how it works. Honestly, I can't really give a practical example too, but it's like internship. Sometimes to get into the company that you want to work with or in, you just offer a free internship or something. Get to know them, let them get to know you, because from the outside, they wouldn't know you. And if you have nothing to show for, it will be very difficult to convince someone to tag along with you. See, there must be some level of evidence or traction to support why they should invest in you. And mind you, people don't invest in business. They invest in the business owners, right? They don't care what you do. Because I remember those times, they used to tell me, oh, the delivery business is very risky. They'll steal their bikes. Oh, accident, that. But today, I don't even have to ask. I don't even make it.
Yeah. I think, Tony, you've answered that question very well. So I'll spare Eslan for that. But before we go to the next question, I think this would apply to you. Nana Osei is asking, how can young people today blend academics with entrepreneurship? You birthed your idea whilst we're still in school. How do you think young people in school can blend both? I squandered mine, so.
So, priorities. You need to prioritize. You're in school. What's the reason why you got to school? To complete your course or your program. So I remember when I started, it was around when I was doing my final project, and I couldn't keep up with doing the final project and building the business. So I had to hold on and pause on the business. But I still had the idea. I would still ask my questions. I would still try to develop myself to suit what I wanted, the vision that I had. So if you're in school, you need to make sure you are prioritizing, you know what you need to do at this time and what, unless you don't want to graduate. And we want to graduate. He said, people invest in people. Investors invest in people. They need to risk you. You couldn't even graduate unless you have a very high mark, and those people have some very good idea. And then in our part of the world, it's quite risky for people to trust you with stuff. So if you're in school and you're starting a business, just make sure, time management, there are some principles that you need to go by, and then build yourself in that regard, and I believe you'll be able to do it.
Thank you very much. Our time is almost up, so I'll take one last question from the audience here. Yes, gentleman with also in red. Yes, can we have your question?
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Prince Boateng from University of Ghana. And then my question goes to both of them. And then what I want to know is, you see, in this entrepreneurship business, sometimes you need partners to move with. You can't do everything by yourself. So I want to know, what are some of the challenges you faced, and then what are some of the things you did to solve those challenges?
Okay. So, having partners is great. But when you're starting small, I will use myself as an example. I started alone because I couldn't afford to hire someone else. What I had was my salary being reinvested into the business that I had started. So I couldn't hire anyone. But then as the business developed, as the business grew, I realized that I also worked 3 years before I moved into my business. I remember resigning in October and COVID coming the following year, and it was just crazy for me. But the fact that I accepted that, I mean, I don't have the money to hire someone, so let me start. When you start, you will be your accountant. If you don't have, you'll be your accountant. You will be even if you have money, a little money to hire someone, it's hard to hire so many people at the same time. Remember, it's first a risk. So you don't want to even go into the risk so much, hire more people, and then you can't afford to pay them because the business is not bringing in money. So you start yourself, or maybe get one person, and then as you grow, let me give myself as an example. I hired my first in-house accountant this year in January. The first, after 8 years. After 8 years, I hired my first in-house accountant where he's taking care of everything this year. So that is the reality on the ground. You don't have, and he may have gotten the bank to invest. Like he said, it depends on the business. For me, my business was so confusing. I was on a phone call with my sister recently, and he said, thank you for not giving up. Because at a point, we even didn't understand what you wanted to do. But now we see clearly. And then we had our first grant from the Absa FinTech, just 2 years ago. That was the first time we had an injection of 200,000 into the business. And it changed so much. So it depends. Right now, when you see our revenue, when you see what we are making, you will smile. Do you get it? But it starts from somewhere. And now we can afford to hire an accountant. I can afford to hire a driver. to maybe drive me somewhere. But I didn't start like that, you know. So always make sure that know where you're coming from. Know where you're coming from. Know what you have. Don't go and feel big that you see CEOs online, someone is telling you something, you need to go big, you need to, there's a term that they use, fake it till you make it. There's a way to go about that. Don't go and hire someone and fake it and see that you have a lot of staff, so you are the CEO and you can't pay them. You will be embarrassed. I'm sure you've seen so many of these all over the internet. So know what you have, know what you can do, and as you start gradually, 4 bikes, 8 bikes, that's you hiring 8 people to 12 bikes. That's you hiring 12 people to 15 bikes. And you're not just hiring because it's nice to hire, but you hire because, yes, it makes business sense to do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Abra. So, Tony, for you and maybe your final words to our audience.
So I would say that you listening, watching, and being here is the first step to entrepreneurship, right? And the platform on which you and I are on today is a very good platform for even funding your ideas or your business. I always say this, that the biggest challenge to anyone or any entrepreneur is to start, and when you start, to keep going without giving up. These are the 2 biggest challenges that you face. Any other challenge, there is always a solution. So just get started. Start without any big expectations. Start small, dream big, work steadily, you know, work with delayed gratification, and keep going. Never give up. You'll be there. You'll be fine.
Yes, thank you very much, Aslan and Tony. And of course, to be on the entrepreneurial journey, you need to build up skills. So don't forget to download the Ready to Work app again and build up yourself for the world of work and opportunities ahead of you. And start now and don't stop. Thank you for joining us today for this session. And we hope it's been insightful. We hope you've learned a lot. This is something we can actually not stop talking about. We can go on, but unfortunately, we don't have much time, and we'll end there. Continue to follow us on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page for more of the series on the Ready to Work webinar sessions. Thank you for joining us. And to our audience, thank you for being a fantastic and an active audience. A round of applause for yourselves all. Thank you. And from wherever you are watching us from, it's been the Absa Ready to Work webinar series. And we thank you for being with us. God bless you.
Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Be the day I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, see they check. Me, I know they run to. Get a bill, then I tap and bounce to. Hey, no worries in my mind, though. Get a text, new amount in account to.
Cash no
Alande. See my eye gets like I hit the jackpot. Got a quick question for the chat, but where's the nearest ATM spot? New deposit in the cash slot. I be on my modern day new African steez. Digital man on my Q's and P's. The way it's safe and secure to be. Woo, wee. Everyday life, oh. Time no they believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy. Everyday life, oh. Time no they believe me. No long things in my life, oh. Like I'm simple and easy.
Easy. Absa, you see how they smile. I dey check my alpha. Oh, internet data finish. Then star 895 hash. Make account my account.